Good day, my friends. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. I'm doing well. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. A couple of days ago, I went over and hung out with our friend, Joanna Cassidy. For those of you that don't watch regularly, or this is your first time watching, Joanna Cassidy, we actually met her when we were doing the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead filming locations video, and we've become friends with her since. She invited me over the other day to just kind of catch up, and I said, you know, if you ever want to just share anything, hit me up. I'd love to bring my camera over. And today she said, bring your camera, I feel like talking today. So she's gonna share some of her great life stories with us, and she's a lot of fun to hang out with, so I know you guys will just enjoy hanging out with her. Daze with Jordan the Lion and Joanna Cassidy begins now. And today is also going to be a special Patreon sunglass vlog for Carol Michelle Ferreira. Carol, I'm going to see if I can't get Joanna to pop these on at one point, and I will sign them, and Joanna will also sign these sunglasses for you. Thank you for being a Patreon. Now let's head over to Joanna's. Well, here we are. We're visiting Joanna Cassidy, and Joanna, I was telling everyone you and I visited the other day, and we were just kind of reminiscing about life. And I said, you know, if you ever want to talk about all the amazing things in your career, there's so much that people know, but so much they don't know, let me know. And you said, bring your camera over today.
Right, I'm very spontaneous, so I like to do that. And I like you, so, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, you said you were recently looking through and you found like some old awards, and I was just talking to you about how I'd been over at Todd Fisher's house looking at Debbie Reynolds stuff, and I said I would love to talk to you about all the wonderful things you've done. And just walking in, you were telling me about a painting in your house and saying that you influenced Ridley Scott to purchase some of this same painter's artwork.
I'll tell you, for a Leo, I am not like a Leo. I mean, I am sometimes, but of course we have COVID and all that, and we've been 9 months, we've been isolated and all that, but you got me thinking, so I did bring out my awards. And I put them around my living room here. I can gather them up.
Yeah, we'll show them in a little bit.
But I have a lot of interests, and I think it's probably why I didn't focus on my acting career like Debbie Reynolds, because she really did. I mean, that was talking to you the other day about her and her devotion to her fans, her clothes, her appearance, how, you know, the publicists got her out there. It was pretty impressive to me, and I never went in that direction. I've been an art collector. I was a singer for a while. My ex-husband and I had a band called Hard Garbage. I bet you didn't know that.
No, I did not. That's great.
We did. We used to sing in the coffee houses in San Francisco. And I've always collected art. I was a fine art major at Syracuse University, and then it stuck with me that and that's another direction I would have gone in. I would have had a gallery.
Did you, what kind of art were you a painter, were you a sculptor? Where did your interest lie in, and what, like, landscapes, people, animals?
It has gone into landscaping, the houses that I've done over the years. Not as much as Corbin Burnson and his wife Amanda, who made a beautiful business of their ability. But I've just dabbled in supporting artists and finding artists. I found a woman in Chicago when I was doing the package with Gene Hackman, and she was on the steps of a big department store there. I forget the name of the department store, but I found her and I sat with her for hours, and it was freezing. But she was perfectly comfortable sitting on the cement and doing her drawings and having them all out there. And people would come by and say, how much for that one? And she'd say, $5 to you. And then someone else would come by and they'd buy it. And then someone else would come along and like to get that one, and she'd say, that'll be $150.
Very interesting.
You're gonna be kidding. What are you doing? You have hundreds of them there. Why don't you? Anyway, I'm sidetracking, of course, which I want to do, but I followed her one day. I followed her to her home, and I waited until she got up to her room. It was a Fleabag hotel is what it was, and I asked the manager, I said, do you mind if I go up and see her? Because I have her phone number. He said, well, call her. So I did, and she said, well, come up. And it was a room with a sink in it and a mattress under which she had hundreds of drawings, and my mouth was watering. I don't know what to say. I mean, when I get to a find, I just think it's the most.
It's the Leo in you.
World, and that's when the Leo in me comes out. So I was making a pile, and she said, "Well, you have to. This is a scraggly woman that I read about." I looked her up, and I found out that she, at one point in time, was a very wealthy woman and had a daughter and lived on the 15th floor of some beautiful apartment building in Chicago. And she entertained, she would sell these phenomenal paintings in front of the museum, the Chicago Art Museum. And people would buy things from her, and they were paper mache around balloons, and she'd get helium and float the balloons up, and I just found her utterly fascinating.
Absolutely.
So I had my pile, and she said, well, you have to have a cup of tea with me. And I'm thinking, well, how's she going to make that tea? And she, and this room was filled with paper cups, styrofoam cups. So she picked a couple off the floor, and she put a tea bag, an old tea bag that was on the ground too, and she turned the hot water on, and she filled the styrofoam cups up.
Her reality was probably much different than
I
yours.
think it was.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. And she said, drink this. I think it was Tetley tea or something. It just,
An
I did
offering.
it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was in her company and in her home and her surroundings. So yeah, so we toasted, and I said, you know, if you want, I'll be your friend when I go back to LA, and I'll stay in touch with you. We can do it. Anyway, so I had all these paintings in a stack like this, you know, and I said, what would you like for them? She said, I'm not going to sell them to you. Why? She said, well, I don't feel like it today. Maybe tomorrow. I said, I don't know if I can come back tomorrow, but and I was really dying, because at the same time I knew, this was another thing I knew about her, was that all over Chicago, underneath the train station, she had like 50 of those lock boxes
Really?
filled with her paintings.
Yeah.
And she was a primitive artist. Things were very raw, but they were women for the most part. Some of the paintings were male with funny hats and always birds. And I said, who is the female in the paintings? She said, I said, it must be your daughter. And she started to cry. Anyway, there are more stories about her, but I did have some for years. I think I still have a couple more. I never got that stack.
Isn't that interesting, though? Her reality was that she knew her power in the world was that she had this art that appealed to people, and that it touched you so much that she knew that was something that kept you interested and kept you... In a weird way, it's kind of interesting to see how people that don't need other people around them end up becoming in the world. Because it sounds like, you know, to her, she knew $150 to her was no different than $5 in her life and her lifestyle.
That's right. So she could fluff it off. And she was, by the way, she was with the gallery.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Did she know who you were?
No.
At all?
No. She asked me what I did, and I said, well, I'm in movies. She said, I said, okay. I wasn't trying to brag to you, but that is what I do on the side. You know, you do your art, I do mine. Anyway, so one of the memories I have of that day was we got in the hallway of her building, which was really something, and she made me draw her.
Really?
So I drew, and I can do that. You know, I like to do that. In fact, if you sit with me sometime at dinner, I will draw you.
That would be awesome.
And it was pretty damn good. And she said, I don't like it.
I was curious, was she testing you in some way?
Of course she was testing me. She was I think she was a true narcissist in a way, interestingly, because she would seduce you and then she would put you down.
Yeah.
You know, if she could. She'd find some way to make you feel terrible.
Humble you, yeah.
Yeah, and then she'd discard you. And that's what narcissists do. Which I found really interesting. But I've come across a lot of those in my life.
I bet you, especially in this town, in the industry of acting and stuff, it takes a certain amount of self-confidence to begin with to even want to put yourself out there, but then a little bit more to be even really good at it, you know? There's some actors out there, you know, one of them comes to mind that my friend Shelley Winters used to tell me about, and she would say, do you know why he's such a good actor? And I said, no. She said, because he has no personality outside of being an actor. She said, and then one day this actor came to visit her and she kept calling at my work to get me to come over. And when I finally went over there, I said, what were you calling about? I was working. She said, he was here. I wanted you to come so I could prove how boring he is, you know? And I won't say who it was, but she just said, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, that's why he does so many movies, because without doing the movies, that's a big part of his personality. Yeah.
Well, and then that begs the question, well, and of course there are tons of answers to this, are actors personalities? Is that what they make their living on, or are they good actors, or
multiple personalities that they're able to bring out one of those personalities? I was listening to Val Kilmer talk about how he came up with his character for Tombstone doing Doc, and he said he went to a dialect coach who gave him old recordings of a Civil War era actor who spoke real soft, and he said, I realized as I listened to him, that was like the beauty in it, how slowly he spoke made it funny, and that was the charm in the character. So he said that's where the whole character came from, was just his voice, you know. And sometimes it is that, sometimes it's that, and sometimes you pull, I guess like you would know, something from inside that you know, a character or a side of your personality, and bring that to the forefront.
Well, that's where that research comes in. You know, if you do a part, you really do have to research it. When I played Claire in Under Fire with Hackman, again, that was my first time with him and Nick Nolte, I did a lot of research on writers and people in the field. I had to make you believe that I was a reporter. I had to do that. So I watched a lot of reporters on television and found, you know, videos of them, and there are all those qualities: the voice, the look, the dress, so many things that go into acting, so many things that make up that package. And my hair was short, and it was hot in Mexico, Oaxaca, where we shot it, and so the humidity made my hair curl up, and it was all, you know, natural. It was fine, worked out. No, that's really smart. Val was lucky that he had a coach that was that detailed, because that's a wonderful thing, the sound of a character.
Can I ask you, would you consider yourself a method actress or method actor? That style of acting where
not in the slightest.
No. Okay.
No,
the reason
I
ask is because my friend Shelley Winters, she was, and she told me, you know, she would explain how important it was to lose yourself in it at the moment, but then she also had 2 stories on set of 2 famous actors that were so into their character that they literally almost killed her in a scene, like lost it and strangled her in the scene. And while she's trying to get them off, the directors think that that's acting, and scary moments.
Well, then the director has to pull the plug, because I've gone there. I mean, I've done that by mistake. I've gotten so into it, and I had to shake myself out of it. But
do you feel that that's acting, or is that almost kind of losing your,
that's indulging yourself. There are boundaries, for heaven's sakes, absolute boundaries.
Yeah.
When I did this tennis tournament all through the Far East, we landed in Thailand at the King's Hotel. And who was filming there but Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. Art Linson was producing.
Was that Casualties of War?
Yes. Yes,
wow,
it was.
What a powerful movie that
and
was.
And they were staying there. And Sean, the entire time, was in character.
Wow. He's intense in that movie.
Yes, and Michael has been a dear. I've known him most of my career, and he said, "Joanna, I don't know what to do. This guy hates me." And I said, "Well, no, he doesn't. He'll probably be fabulous the day of the wrap. He'll be great, and he'll come over and give you a big hug and tell you how wonderful you are. Don't expect anything now. He's into his thing. That's how he does it."
Yeah.
And maybe one of the faults of mine is that I'm not selfish enough on a set. There are a lot of people who just, in fact, an Australian once said to me, we were taught in the school of NIDA that to win is everything. And one of the techniques that they taught us was that you don't look anyone in the eyes, and it starts to make them feel very insecure until you beat them down with that so badly you come out on top. I can't do that. That's not the kind of actor I am. It's not the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
Forget the acting. It's not who I am. I always keep the levity going. And that, I think, has been a holdback for me, actually. Like I said earlier, if I had been more selfish, I think it would have been better for me. Seriously.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
For as much, you've done... See, I think what's amazing about you is you've done a little bit of everything to where you could put 10 people in a room looking at a picture of you and you'd say, what do you know her from? And I think every person would say a different movie, which I think is amazing because you have such a lasting effect on an actual movie as opposed to like maybe... probably Tom Cruise, people see him and they think Jerry Maguire, how many times did he hear or show me the money and stuff like that, You're actually, people regard you as someone who brings characters to life as opposed to just a catchphrase, I think that's a lot.
Well, we'll have to find out. We'll have to run it through your fans, find out what they think, because I don't know. The biggest compliment you can give me is saying that when people say to me they didn't recognize me until I laughed, which really? I usually do.
You do have a great laugh.
Yeah. But I really like that when people say that to me, that I just disappeared. They had no idea it was me.
Really? That is amazing because I think that does make the best actors when you can't place, when they're not being them. I think that's something that they showed in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where the director comes into Leonardo DiCaprio and he says, I want to put a mustache on him, I want to put this jacket, and DiCaprio says, nobody's going to know it's me. He said, I didn't hire you, I hired an actor. So it's like, I think that's probably why you work so well with Gene Hackman and like so many of these people, because he's, at least from what I've heard, very intimidating to be around on a set, and yet you worked extremely well with him, where you didn't pale in comparison to him in any scenes.
No, and he loved working with me. He loved it. He told me that.
I totally believe it. Now, what were some of the movies that you've done that you would feel maybe Is there anything that you felt like pushed your career into a certain direction maybe you weren't happy with, or you liked what you did, but you're like, oh boy, I didn't kind of think of where this would put me in the industry?
Well, fortunately for me, there have been some movies that haven't been seen. I think every actor can say that, but there's some real stinkers out there. And we just kind of, I mean, I'm very lucky that my kids don't, I suppose I'm lucky, they don't really watch my things. And I have other things that stand out. So people go there. They go, oh, yes, I remember you from 6 Feet Under. And I remember you from Odd Mom Out. And, you know, that kind of thing.
I mean, even like Blade Runner, Who's Roger Rabbit? I mean, those are, I think I saw one time Tom Hanks say he thought Who's Roger Rabbit was one of the most important movies to ever be made because it was seeing actors working with a main actor that wasn't there and seeing how good those actors could be with a cartoon.
Did he say that really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Pierce Brosnan said something recently about me. He said, there I was in England and I was doing the Fourth Protocol with JOANNA Cassiddy, and we were in the middle of a really serious scene where I kill her. We've made love and I kill her, and she's laughing. And I was in such a bad mood because I couldn't play Bond because I was attached to this television series.
Wow.
And he just said that recently, and I just thought, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so things come up like that.
What are some of your favorite moments in your career? Because we were going to go look at your awards. What things, as you were looking at those the other day, kind of stood out? Any memories that were special to you? Or how you found out you were nominated? That's got to be a major honor, just to even hear that someone has considered you one of the best in your field for...
I think, I was nominated twice for a Golden Globe, and I won one. I was sitting at the table with, this is a long time ago, Dabney Coleman and Gina Davis and, Max Wright, the producers, and the big manager. He's gone. Oh my gosh. And everyone had been nominated for an award, and they didn't win, and I got to me and I won, and I was utterly embarrassed. And I think I had on, it looked like a prom dress. You can find it on YouTube.
Embarrassed that you won, or embarrassed that you were the only one at the table that won?
Embarrassed that I was the only one at the table.
Of course, that's such a Leo trait. Like, if somebody else would have won, you'd have been okay with it, but...
I would have felt a little better. Come on. I mean, Dabney was the star of the show. He was it. He was the it man. That comedy would never have happened without him. It just wouldn't have. He was brilliant.
And then who called your name to tell it? What was that moment like when
Heather Locklear.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's on YouTube.
Did everything kind of change when you heard that? Sometimes people say like they just all of a sudden go into like a tunnel and they can't think of what to say or what to do.
I did go into a tunnel. It was like a complete zone out. Everything got very quiet. And it was like I was in the room all by myself. And then I had to walk.
And for someone who's not selfish with attention, that really must have been quite an experience to have every eye on the place looking at you.
It was something. It was something. It's like going on a set and knowing your lines, and then you've got 50 pairs of eyes staring at you. It's the first time you've ever said the lines out loud. And sometimes what comes out is a creak, sort of a crackly voice that you're not expecting. But anyway, I got through that moment. And
did it mean a lot to you? I know, like, the reason I asked, like, people like George C. Scott, I remember seeing this awards don't mean anything, it's just a pat on the back, whatever, but it's got to feel good to know that your field recognizes something that you've done with other people in competition. I think it's got to feel good.
I'm going to go get them. I have, these are 2 awards, Canadian Emmys. Best performance by an actress in a continuing leading comedic role. Call Me Fitz, which was one of the funniest television series I've ever done. Best performance by an actress in a featured supporting role or guest role in a comedic series, and Call Me Fitz. And this was for Buffalo Bill. Best performance by an actress in a television series.
That's incredible.
Yeah, musical or comedy. Buffalo Bill.
Now that's a Screen Actor. Isn't that what the Academy, like the Screen Actors Guild, votes on? The Golden Globes?
No, this is Foreign Press.
Foreign Press. Okay.
Foreign Press.
Okay. Wow, what an accomplishment. Now, did you know when you were working on that it was that influential that you would be considered for that? Did you know it was?
This?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did?
Buffalo Bill was out of the box. It was really ahead of its time. That's what I've done all over the place. Everything's been, a lot of things that I've done have been ahead of its time.
Did you know that from the script or by working with the director? Or was it everything?
Yes, it was kind of like, it was Dabney Coleman's version of All in the Family. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never.
Oh my God, you are going to die and go to heaven. It was at NBC.
But I love him. So
he was the meanest man you could possibly imagine.
Because I remember him in Drexler's class. He played like the angry teacher.
This character was so horribly, horribly wonderful. Oh boy. He really...
How long did it last?
2 years. It was off for a year. 13 shows, off. Then the head of NBC brought it back. I'm trying to think of his name.
Do you know why it was?
Because it was critically acclaimed. People loved it. They went crazy for it. There was a lot of intellectual pressure around it because it was so good.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. And for some reason, it comes on now and again.
Does it? I'll look for it.
Yeah. Well, this one, the Call Me Fitz, that's Sherry Elwood. That was major. She's a major writer, and that starred Jason Priestley, and I knew that would take off because Jason's huge in the TV world. But
that was probably right after 90210 years?
No. This is only a few years ago.
Okay, but it was
2013.
Yeah.
2015. Yeah.
Wow. That is really recent. See, I was thinking because I know he's done so much stuff since then, but he's always known.
He never stops. But I knew this one would be outstanding in terms of the Canadian world.
Why is that? Is the Canadian market a little different? The humor?
It's very different. It's very different. They have great shows and wonderful actors, but this was out of the box.
Do you think things have a better chance being out of the box in Canada?
My character in this was, we were used car salesmen. We were grifters. We were horrible. I guess I do really well at horrible. I don't see myself being, sweet little grandmotherly type.
Well, you have an automatic likability, and I think sometimes putting that behind the devilish side of people is what makes them so likable. Almost the charm and the likability.
I think so, because it's easy to say, God, I hated her. and enjoy saying it.
Do you find that your agent submits you for things that are on the darker side of that, or do you kind of go out for everything still? Do you try for lighthearted comedy? What is it that you prefer to do now?
Well, look, I'm older now, so, the film business is about young people. There will be, actually I am working. I've got a movie called Simone that I shot with Esai Morales, and Esai's now off doing 2 things with Tom Cruise. That'll be out next year, and I just did a show called Leverage.
Really?
That was Timothy Hutton
Oh, wow.
before he was fired. And now I'm going to go off and do this series called Younger? Youthful. Younger.
What
And
can
then
we
after
expect
that-
that? What kind of character do you play in
Well,
there?
they're just
Or do you get to
rich
create?
drinker. A rich drinker. I'm very good at drinking on film.
But you can go in a lot of different directions with that.
Yes, you can.
You really can. I mean, I think
The one thing I've noticed that's changed so much about the business is that everybody wants to get everything done so quickly. I can't bear it. You don't have the moments to take your time and relish the lines. It's like Peter O'Toole used to do.
mm-hmm.
Darling, come have a drink with me.
The power is in the space of the words
It
sometimes.
is. The power is in the space. It's in the breath. If you don't breathe, I mean, I listen to actors. They come out with these voices that aren't even real. Like, who's that? It's just all rush, 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 and it's not attractive to me.
I agree. I feel it's the shorter attention span stuff. I saw a lot of the comments with the latest Tarantino movie. People, I can't sit through a 3-hour movie. I'm sitting here thinking he wanted it to be 4, and he really takes the time to show those. One of my favorite scenes in that movie was if you remember when Leonardo DiCaprio isn't doing a great job and he goes to his trailer and starts throwing things and screaming at himself, and I'm going, I've known so many actors that have done that. Screamed at themselves for 20 minutes and then go out and do an amazing take. And then right after that look at themselves in the mirror and go, see, you still got it, baby. And you're just like, like he creates that moment in the movie that you can't put in a minute. It has to be 5 minutes.
You can't put it in a minute. You can't. You've got to let people do their process. I mean, I wanted to do this film, the short film, honest to God, it was a day in the life of Joanna the other day. Because I went from 0 to 100. Every incident that I had during the day. And I just thought, wow, what a scene. Here's one I'll tell you about. So my cat Sammy was not doing well. I mean, like doing badly. He was ill. So I took him to the vet, and the vet gave me a prescription for Prozac. And I said, oh my God, Prozac for my cat. So I dropped it off at the pharmacy, drive-through pharmacy. And I forgot it the next day. And I went back that next evening, and I was picking it up, and the woman behind the thing said, your name? And I said, Joanna Cassidy. And she said, well, what was it? I said, it's for Prozac. And she said, well, yes, we have something here for Prozac. I said, fine, we'll just run it through, and and I'll pay for it. And well, she said, the problem is that it was prescribed by a vet. I said, well, yes, I went to that doctor.
They're thinking you have a shady doctor writing you prescriptions.
I wouldn't say anything. And I said, yes, I went there. I was trying to avoid the truth.
Yeah.
And she said, well, but it is a vet. Now, is this for an animal? I'm going, oh God, I can't, how long can I keep this? Okay, yes, it was for Sammy, my cat. And she said, well, he has to have his own account. And
your
said,
cat has to have?
My cat had to have his own account. And I said, what, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Does he have to show ID too?
Right. I said, how's he going to sign for it? Is he going to put a paw print on the thing?
Oh my God.
Does he have to have his own credit card? You have got to be kidding me. She's, no, I'm not, Sammy. So what is his last name? Well, it's Sammy Cassidy. She said, no. It has to. He has to have another name. I said, but that's his name. He's my cat. I said, okay. His name is Sammy Fucker. She said, what? I said, Sammy. It's Sammy Fucker. She said, how do you spell that? I said, well, let me think. And by this time, now that's getting rather steamy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they would even question. Like, if you have a prescription, it should be.
I couldn't even believe it. I said, I'm not going to spell it because she'll have me arrested. I said, F-O-C-K-E-R, Sammy Fucker.
But that just shows how crazy things have gotten now.
I'm telling
they
you,
have to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Beyond. And I just thought, and I'm thinking to myself, this Prozac shouldn't be for the cat. It's got to be for me. At the end of the day,
being that you're around, that things are kind of slow right now with the COVID and everything, and experiencing these, has it inspired you at all to write anything or consider directing something? Have you ever considered that?
Well, I have, and I've been sort of thinking about how that gets done, and never having pursued that before. And being, I just have to sit down and do it.
I would say because you have one of the most creative minds of anyone I know, and you know the business, you know what you like, and what you like is art. That's what we like. That's what people that like good cinema, craving good stuff.
I like British humor. I like very dry, wry British humor. And to me, watching a woman absolutely spiral out of her mind with incidents during the day.
Like Lucy. That was the beauty in Lucy,
That's really what it was. That was my day. It was my Lucy day.
And you know what my honest opinion is? I think people are tired of seeing every show with young people. I really do.
Do you think so?
Oh, totally. Who's the guy from Will and Grace? Leslie...
Jordan.
Yeah, Leslie Jordan. His career has taken off on YouTube because people love him, just him being real.
Yes.
And I truly believe that was, to me, the beauty in Golden Girls was that they captured real people. Like, I saw my grandmother in Rose Nyland, those funny moments, and I think that's what, whoever's running things now, they have lost track of, like, real people are what's funny, not beautiful people. Beautiful people are charming. They're not funny.
They're not funny.
Yeah, totally.
I have to say, I'm going off to replace Jane Seymour in this show in New York.
Really?
Yes. It's a funny part. Jane Seymour's not funny.
No, she's
not funny.
Dramatic actress.
No. You have to have that thing going on. You've got to have that tickle in your life that I literally, when I was in the car and I'm listening to this dialogue going back and forth, and I'm crying. I think I floated out of myself. This is the most ridiculous conversation I've had, one of the most ridiculous in my life. This is really funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have been caught in the moment, and I think that was an incident that people go through during the day. It's like a Larry David.
Absolutely.
Thing. Totally Larry David. I was angry like Larry David all day long.
And a lot of people are, because especially right now, when you're in a bubble, the little things become the big things.
They do.
And I think that's what people find funny. And I think what you are experiencing right now is that's why I brought it up. I think that would be such a funny concept for a show or a movie, is what you're going through. Just like About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson, it was like the whole movie was him coping with being single and older and not knowing even how to shop for himself.
Right. Well, it got to be that in K-Smart, what's it called? PetSmart. That was during the day at PetSmart, getting food for Sammy. And I ended up yelling. I thought it was a Jack Nicholson moment. I said, oh boy, I'm out there.
You're going to snap.
I was yelling like you can't, like a banshee, and I thought they're really going to have me taken away. This is totally mad, and I had every reason in the world to be yelling like that. This was not a illegitimate thing that was going on.
No, and it's something you shouldn't have even been questioned really about, to be honest.
Totally.
That's between them and the doctor, not you and a pharmacist, you know.
Anyway.
Now, can I ask you, with everything that's going on right now, has it changed what you're interested in as far as as far as performing, or do you still have that need to want to go out and work and perform, or are you getting to the point where you're like, I want to go move to the South somewhere and sit on a swing and write a novel, or like have you had any changes in your life like that?
That's kind of like that. Yeah, I feel that way, but there is always that excitement when you step on a set. There is that magic being around and it's all about energy.
It is.
That. I mean, and that's I think the thing that has kept me in this business. Otherwise, I think I would have had a landscape business or had a gallery.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I just have a need to be around people. I do have that need, and then the other part is I need to go away because I need to think.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I love to socialize, but then I like my alone time
Absolutely.
too.
And that's kind of crucial. But, I mean, again, I'm at an age where I could go away. I've had my laurels.
You've done, I mean, more than most people could dream, honestly. The experiences that you've probably had in 1 year are probably more than most people get in a lifetime.
Yes.
I hear that about my channel all the time. People are like, you're living my dream life. And I go, that's just because I go out and do it every day.
You go out and do it.
Anybody could,
That's what you have to do, is you have to go out and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a wonder. This is a one-time
deal.
It is.
We could come back a goat herder next time. You just never know, you just never know what your next day will be.
That's right.
This is so great, Joanna. Thank you for having me over, showing your awards, talking about life and everything. I know this is the kind of stuff people love to hear.
Do they?
For someone who's done as much as you have, and then to be real, to talk about what you really think and how you really are. I think that's so important. People really, I think they gravitate towards, people like you even more. Someone they see on a screen, and like you said, you don't overpower the screen so much that they get tired of you. People thirst on knowing more about people they don't.
I don't want to do
about.
that. I see people just grabbing screen time all the time, and I think, no, you're not enjoying what you've reaped.
I agree.
Your career, give it a rest.
I see commercials and I see Shaquille O'Neal on there, and I say, let an actor be on that commercial. You've done enough. You've had, how many careers do you need? Let an actor that truly wants to act, do that, instead of you being a spokesman because you want the attention,
Well, the attention and other things, but the thing that I have that I so relish now, because I am an elder that has the energy of a 30-year-old, which is just insane sometimes.
I come over and you're out watering the lawn and caring for the plants and everything. You never stop.
Oh, I'll never stop. But is that I have experience and I have wisdom. And the thing that I love to do, which I never had, and I think I've mentioned it before, I lacked a mentor. A mentor is something that I never had.
Is that a role that you've ever decided to take on for anyone on a set?
I think I have.
Well, you said Christina, obviously. Her first movie with you.
A lot of actors along the way I've given help too. I mean, that they had, questioned their confidence in the business, which is easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
And I've always been there, never ever held back from. A scene is with all the actors. It's not one actor.
Yeah.
You don't have to win the freaking scene. You just You're all in it together.
Yeah, even the background actors are a big part.
Absolutely. They're very important. The background actors, the stunt people, it all gets put together. We don't do a movie without everyone. That's crucial. It's like in Blade Runner, magic came together in that film. Everyone put their stuff in there. And Ridley was the guiding light. He was the magician. He was cracking the whip, and the horses ran around, and the trapeze artist, and everyone was putting in their bit. It was a circus, and boy, did we make a movie.
And that's, to me, that's what made movies great. Was the Cecil B. DeMille, make it larger than life, make it someone literally leaves their reality for a short time and gets that moment, the escape. Which I love. That's why I say you're the perfect person. You see that, and I think.
Well, I think that what I would look for in the future is like something like some sci-fi thing. Now this hair is like cut it off, and I'm thinking maybe something really slick back or like pure white or something very Grace Slick. Not Grace Slick. Grace Jones. Grace Jones. And, just something crazy like that.
That would be so cool.
Wouldn't that be fun? I still have
I totally think you should do it.
But in the meantime, see, like I have these little things. I don't know if your viewers like to do things like that. I'm on this thing called Coach the World.
Okay.
The people can come on and talk to me for an amount of time.
That's a really great idea.
I think so. And that's where I can impart my wisdom, because I get to it very fast. I'm not a psychiatrist.
And not only that, but you've got people that are coming to you with questions.
Exactly.
There's already, they already know what they're looking for, as opposed to you trying to sort things.
It's a quick fix. It's like Bondo, You want a question answered, I can answer it for you.
With life experience, which is so important.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. Do you have, that's the name of the site?
It's Coach the World.
Coach the World, and then they can just type in your name and people can find you through there?
Yeah.
That's so cool, Joanna. I really applaud you for doing that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell people to look out for in the future? Other than you're going to be going on stage again, I guess replacing Jane Seymour if they want to come see you when that's available.
Well, that's on that show called, what did I say it was? Youthful? Younger. It's younger.
Or, it's one of those two.
I don't know. It's about youth. And that's on Hulu. So that'll be out in 4 months or something.
Excellent.
And that's it's the last year. It's I think it's like their 6th or 7th year.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on coming in for that. And anytime that you'll have me over, I'd love to come back over. And if you want to talk art or anything,
sure.
You have so much going on that just to sit down with you like this, I think people just love it. I think people just love the realness that you give. So. Do
they? I can talk about crystals and...
I would totally be up for that anytime. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's do that next time.
All right, we'll do that.
Thank you so much, Joanna. You're always a pleasure. Joanna, I have a special viewer today that these sunglasses are going to be for her. Would you possibly put them on and wear them? And I'm going to mail them to her, and she can say that the world famous Joanna Cassidy award winner wore her sunglasses.
Where is this young lady?
I believe she lives in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah, her name's Carol.
These are perfect Arizona glasses.
Thank you so much, Joanna.
Anyway, wear them in good health, darling.
All right, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog. I always love hanging out with Joanna. I think she always kind of gives you a dose of some people in Hollywood actually are real, and Joanna's definitely one of those people. Thank you, John Parkinson and Steve Thompson, for becoming my newest Patreons. Carol, I hope you enjoyed this sunglass vlog. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.